Back in the sweltering summer of 1889, in this dusty little hellhole called Dust Haven, Texas, where the wind kicks up regrets like tumbleweeds, I was standing there in that godforsaken auction barn, hat in hand, feeling the weight of my empty ranch like a noose around my neck. I'd built Harlan's spread from nothing, miles of barbed wire and beef cattle that should have made me a king, but without kids to pass it to, it all felt like chasing shadows, you get me? My wife Clara, bless her, she'd miscarried one too many times, left us both hollowed out, whispering prayers into the night that nobody answered. And then this girl steps up on that rickety platform 16, all bones and fire in her eyes, name of Ellie Voss, auctioned off like yesterday's feed, cause her folks got swept away in a cholera wave. Bidding starts at $20, some lowlife rancher named Buck Harlano relation. Thank God throws in 30, but those eyes of hers, they locked on mine like she was daring the whole damn room to blink first. I slapped down 60 before I could talk myself out of it. And just like that, I owned a stranger's fight. Riding back to the ranch that afternoon, wagon creaking under the heat, Ellie's sitting there quiet as a coiled rattler, memorizing every rut in the road like she might bolt any second in hell. Who could blame her? You planning an escape already? I asked, half joking to cut the tension, and she turns, fixes me with that stare, says, depends on if you're the kind who locks doors after dark, mister. Harlan. Boom right there, gut punched me, cause in her voice I heard my own younger self, scraping by after the war, wondering if trust was just another word for trap. Clara took one look at her ragtag self and melted, hustling her inside for cornbread and a hot soak, fussing over those tangled auburn curls like they'd been waiting for her all along. Child, you look like you've been wrestling coyotes for supper, Clara laughed, but her hands trembled, That first night, as Ellie's wolfing down stew in our kitchen, first real meal in months, she said I caught Clara watching her, eyes soft with that ache we never named. And damn if it didn't stir something fierce in me too, like maybe this scrawny kid was the ghost of the family we'd lost. Weeks blurred into this rhythm, Ellie up at dawn mending fences and tallying herds with a head for numbers that'd make a banker jealous, learned at dodging debts in Dust Haven's back alleys. Turns out, working ledgers for a snake named Vance Caldwell, the town's kingpin who ran everything from moonshine to muscle. Kept his books clean so he wouldn't notice the dirt on his hands. She confessed one evening by the fire, voice low like she was testing if I'd run her off. But nah, it hooked me deeper. This girl wasn't broken, she was forged, and she started breathing life back into us, teaching Clara herb gardens that bloomed wild, pouring over my accounts till we turned a profit for the first time in years. Clara'd brush her hair at night, murmuring about adoptions and forever homes, and I'd see Ellie flinch just a hair, like kindness was a blade too sharp to hold. Then the storm hit, literal and otherwise. One freezing November gale, Vance's lapdog, that slimy hand I'd fired for eyeing the help, corners Ellie in the barn, breath reeking of whiskey, snarling. Pretty little thief. You think Harlan's roof hides you from what you owe? She's got a pitchfork handle in her grip before he blinks, jabs it low and growls back. Oh, boy, I tallied every cent you stole from widows now get, for I make you bleed ink. He lunges, she sidesteps like smoke, cracks him across the jaw, crunch echoes like thunder, and he's spitting blood, howling. Caldwell, burn this place for this. I burst in, shotgun ready, drag him out into the sleep myself, bellowing. Touch her again, and I'll feed you to the pigs, you hear? This ain't your game anymore. That should have been the end, but Vance? He don't forget slights. Guy's ego's bigger than his land grabs, fueled by grudges from when my pa outbid him on water rights decades back. 2 weeks later, his riders hit at dawn, 6 shadows thundering in, torches flickering like hellfire promises. Ellie's pounding on our door. Elijah trouble, 6 guns, Caldwell's mark on M. We barricade, Clara loading rifles with hands steady as prayer, me barking orders from the porch. You want the girl? Come through me first, you vulture. Gunfire cracks the air, bullets splintering wood like accusations. One clips my shoulder, hot sting that wakes every old war scar, but Ellie's a whirlwind, shotgun booming from the loft, dropping a rider with a scream that curdles milk. Vance wants his ledger, she yells down during a lull, voice cutting sharp as barbed wire. That little book of bribes she'd swiped as her ticket out. Tell him it's ash now, but here's your proof. My blood on his debts. She flings a rag, stained crimson from a shard-cut palm, and the leader buck again, face twisted ugly snatches it, eyes bulging. You crazy bitch, this ends us all. But it don't. They scatter like roaches at light, Vance believing her dead from the raid, his empire crumbling under whispers of that ghost ledger floating back to sheriffs. Years on that raid, it sealed us adopted Ellie legal, turned our ranch into a haven for strays, kids Vance's kind chewed up. Profits soared on her smarts. Clara bloomed mothering a dozen pass-throughs, and me? Found my soul in the saddle again. But here's the rub that keeps me up some nights, staring at those hills where the riders vanished. Was buying her mercy or meddling? Vance rotted in Leavenworth eventually, his justice a noose of his own making. But what if I'd walked away that auction day? Would Ellie have carved her own path, fierce and free, or faded into his shadows? Hell, in a town like Dust Haven, where grudges outlast graves and one man's salvation's another's theft, who's the real outlaw? Y'all tell me in the comments what's the line between saving someone and stealing their fight? Did I give Ellie wings or clip him with my help? Drop your takes, share if this hits close, and subscribe for more tales from the dust cause life's too short for polished lies.